is Valley News Live at 4.
Shot 124 is hit. 2 subjects down.
You're hearing the moments directly before and after an officer-involved shooting in Wadena County over the weekend that killed 2 people. 2 officers were also shot. Tonight, both of them are recovering at home. Coming up on Valley News Live at 6, we'll hear more of that audio, and we dig into who the suspects are and what appeared to be their tumultuous relationship with police. Here's a look at today's top 4 at 4. Fargo police say an early morning shooting, crash, and armed robbery are all related. Officers first responded to the crash at 17th Avenue South and 45th Street South just after 1 a.m. As they investigated the crash, someone reported gunshots on East Gateway Circle South. Another man said his vehicle was stolen in an armed robbery. Officers learned all 3 of these incidents are related. Police say they're still investigating, but one man is in custody at a local hospital. One of the men charged in a North Fargo fatal shooting has pled guilty. Police say Reng Ayong and another man were selling meth at the Northport Hornbachers on May 12th when several shots were fired. They found Antoine White dead in the backseat of a car. Ayong pled guilty to murder and will spend 15 years in prison with 5 years of supervised release. The man accused of bludgeoning someone to death with a piece of furniture has pleaded guilty. Daryl Peterson was arrested back in November 2019 after neighbors heard a man calling for help. Officers found 64-year-old Dwayne Darling laying on the floor covered in blood. They found a metal piece of furniture nearby also covered in blood. Court documents say that on Peterson's ride to jail, he suggested that he be charged with murder. He's been sentenced now to 50 years in prison. The teen driver involved in last week's crash in Grand Forks has passed away. Police say 16-year-old Mason Berry died this weekend due to injuries he sustained in the single vehicle crash last Wednesday. The crash is still under investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact Grand Forks Police. That wraps up today's top 4 at 4. Here's a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Stacy, thanks so much. We begin the new month and the new season, meteorological spring, as the nation's cold spot. Take a look at this, 13 degrees in Fargo and only 81 in Sarasota. So a little less than spring-like, but look, we are not far from that warm air, and that warm air is heading our way even as we speak. Let's take a look at your satellite and radar. A few showers of snow moving out of Winnipeg. Now, it doesn't look like too much up in northwest Minnesota, but that's a long way from the radar. I would not be surprised if we're getting some snow showers that'll cause some slippery road conditions for you along Highway 11 and north of Highway 2. Tonight, look at that temperature graph, and Stacy, they're going up. By 10 o'clock, it will be warmer than it is right now. 6:13, the time of sunset. That trend continues. How warm will we get? I'll have the toasty and terrific Tuesday forecast facts here in just a few moments.
I love the alliteration almost as much as the forecast. Thanks, Hutch.
It's going to be fun.
Child care workers in Cass County are one step closer to getting their COVID vaccines. Starting this week, Fargo Cass Public Health is inviting child care workers to their vaccination clinics. The health department says child care workers should check with their employers to see if they have a vaccination plan. If you're not employed by a facility, you can pass your contact information on to the health department. They say they'll get in touch when it's your turn. Clay County Public Health is hosting a vaccine clinic tomorrow in Moorhead. The event is for Clay County residents over 65. You can register over the phone or at the number on your screen. You can also register online. Just head over to valleynewslive.com and click on this story for the link. The first doses of Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine are shipping out today. The CDC and FDA approved its emergency use over the weekend. It's the third vaccine approved for use in the U.S., but the first that requires only 1 dose. Elise Preston has our story.
Workers at Johnson & Johnson's facility in Kentucky packed up doses of the company's COVID-19 vaccine to get them ready to ship out. UPS tells CBS News it will be Tuesday morning before the shots arrive at the sites where people can actually get them into their arms. On Face the Nation, Dr. Anthony Fauci said Americans should not worry that clinical trials show Johnson & Johnson's vaccine offered slightly less overall protection than the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines.
They are highly efficacious in many ways, including, importantly, preventing severe or critical disease. If you look at all 3 of them, they're really very good.
On CBS this morning, the company's CEO explained that some of the participants in its clinical trials were infected with variants of the virus that have become more widespread.
So whether it was the South African variant that we know is particularly challenging, or the P2 variant in Brazil, our vaccine showed 85% effectiveness in severe disease, and it kept all the patients out of the hospital and from dying.
Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is the first one approved in the U.S. that requires only a single dose. It also doesn't need to be stored in extreme cold temperatures, making it easier to distribute.
We think that the convenience, the ease of logistics that's going to represent will be significant.
Only around 4 million doses are in the initial shipment, so it may still be a while before the vaccine is available at a large number of vaccination sites.
The company expects to ship 20 million shots by the end of the month and 100 million by summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is approved for adults 18 and over. The company has started trials on 12 to 17-year-olds. They say they're looking at starting trials on younger children and pregnant women soon. Here's an easy way for you to stay on top of the latest COVID vaccine-related information. Just use our VNL vaccine tracker. Visit our website or simply open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. The CDC director says the number of COVID cases is no longer declining, and we must remain vigilant to keep the numbers from rising again. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the CDC is now working on guidance for what people can do once they're fully vaccinated.
Is going to be based on a combination of data, a combination of modeling, and a combination of good clinical common sense. And the CDC is working on that right now, and we'll all be together with a good message, hopefully soon. So, Rochelle,
no date yet on when to expect that guidance. The CDC says it will be within a reasonable period of time. The federal COVID response team is stressing that the spread of new coronavirus variants remains a concern, even as vaccine distribution is ramping up. Madeline Rivera has details from Capitol Hill, where Congress is still debating the president's coronavirus relief plan.
They will get a state of the pandemic update.
President Biden's top health officials say that even though coronavirus cases are falling, now is not the time to become complacent about the virus.
The goal is not to sort of open up travel, open up all of things because people, we're scaling up vaccination. The goal in this first 100 days has always been to sort of make sure that we are in a place to be out of this pandemic.
And they say that even with the approval of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, there is still a lot of work to do to make sure every American can get a shot.
We're focused on execution, and that includes the important work of ensuring that we continue to increase overall vaccine supply, increase the number of vaccinators, and increase the number of places Americans can get vaccinated.
More money to help ramp up vaccine distribution is just one part of President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, which the Senate will begin taking up this afternoon.
In 2 weeks, on March 14th, around 11 million Americans will start losing their unemployment benefits if Congress doesn't act on the president's rescue plan.
But Republicans say they won't support the plan because it's too expensive.
We're not going to go waste Americans' money. We have $27 trillion worth of debt. You see interest rates are going up. Inflation is coming back. It's caused because of government spending.
Democrats have abandoned a plan to increase the minimum wage by taxing corporations that don't pay their employees at least $15 an hour. Madeline Rivera, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Democratic aides working on the legislation say that adding the corporate tax proposal would take too long. They're hoping to bring the COVID relief plan to the floor for a vote on Wednesday or Thursday so that President Biden could sign it into law by March 14th, when expanded unemployment benefits expire. Construction on Amazon's North Fargo warehouse is moving along. Check out this photo taken from an airplane over the weekend. The giant building will be more than 1 million square feet when it's finished. That's bigger than West Acres Mall. This marks Amazon's first fulfillment center in North Dakota, and the company says it will create 500 full-time jobs. It's March 1st and practically a holiday around here. It's Moorhead Dairy Queen Day. On this day each year, locals make their way to DQ to get their first ice cream of the season. Today is their 72nd anniversary, and the owners are celebrating with plenty of support from the community, despite the chilly temperatures. This DQ is an icon of the Fargo-Moorhead community, being one of the oldest original stores in the entire franchise. And with no indoor seating, the restaurant doesn't have to worry about COVID precautions. The owner tells us the pandemic has hit the business hard, hard this past year, with the store having to close on and off for 6 weeks at a time. This season, he's more optimistic. He says customers always show up to support on the big day.
It feels pretty good because our customers are super. When we open and it's cool out, they show up in force, and we try to satisfy them with the delicious ice cream as much as possible.
To prepare for today, 1,800 dilly bars, 100 cakes, and 125 Buster bars have been created. The Moorhead Dairy Queen will be open until 10 o'clock tonight if you want to get in on the fun. The Bison are hitting the road this weekend to take on Missouri State, and we've got your ticket to the game right here. The pregame show starts at 1 Saturday afternoon, taking you all the way up to kickoff at 2. You can catch all the action on KVLY. For tens of millions of people behind on their rent, help is about to run out. We look at the toll it's taking not only on renters, but also building owners when Valley News Live at 4 continues.
Looking out the window this morning, judging a book by the cover was dangerous. It was chilly, sub-zero temperatures to start our day in the FM area. But spring is here, and all details on a terrific Tuesday next.